The voice notes I never opened. Have you ever avoided something for so long that it became part of your life? Not because it was difficult, not because it was impossible, but because facing it would mean accepting a truth that hurt too much. For Emma, that truth sat quietly inside her phone. 17 unopened voice notes, all from the same person, her father. For 3 years, she carried them everywhere. In her pocket, in her purse, on road trips, during sleepless nights, at family gatherings, through birthdays, through holidays, through ordinary Tuesdays that somehow felt heavier than they should. And yet, she never pressed play. Not once. Because some messages don't just contain words. They contain memories. And memories can be terrifying. This is the story of the voice notes Emma never opened, and the secret waiting inside them. The apartment looked different when it was empty. Funny how a place can stop feeling like home the moment the walls begin showing. Emma stood in the middle of her living room, surrounded by cardboard boxes. After 6 years in the same apartment, she had finally decided to move. A fresh start. At least that was what she told everyone. The truth was simpler. Every room reminded her of someone who wasn't there anymore. As she sorted through old files on her phone, she noticed a familiar folder. Her hand froze. Dad, 17 voice messages. The date beneath the folder was 3 years old. 3 years. 3 years of avoiding 17 tiny play buttons. 3 years of pretending they didn't exist. 3 years of wondering what they said. Her thumb hovered over the screen, then pulled away. Just like always. Grief is strange. People talk about it like a storm. Something violent. Something obvious. But sometimes grief is quieter than that. Sometimes it looks like leaving a chair untouched, keeping an old sweater, saving a contact number you'll never call, or refusing to listen to 17 voice notes. Emma's father, David, had died unexpectedly. One moment, he was making terrible jokes at breakfast. The next moment, life changed forever. After the funeral, everyone told Emma the same thing. He wouldn't want you to be sad, which sounded nice, but it didn't help. Because grief doesn't listen to advice. It doesn't follow schedules. It doesn't care about inspirational quotes. So Emma did what many people do. She buried the pain beneath work. Days became months. Months became years. And the voice notes remained unopened. Later that afternoon, Emma found an old watch buried inside a drawer. Her father's watch. The same silver watch he wore every day. The same watch he constantly forgot where he left. The same watch that somehow always appeared inside the refrigerator. Nobody ever figured out why. Emma laughed despite herself. Then she cried. Then she laughed again. That was grief too. A confusing mix of emotions, fighting for space. She sat on the floor, looked at the watch, looked at her phone, and finally pressed play. Static. A small crackle. Then his voice. Warm. Familiar. Alive. Hey, Em. Emma immediately covered her mouth. For a moment, she forgot he was gone. The voice felt real. Present. Close. If you're hearing this, congratulations. You've successfully figured out how voice notes work. Emma rolled her eyes. Exactly the kind of joke you would make. I was worried technology would win. A tiny smile appeared. The first genuine smile she'd had all week. Maybe longer. Over the next hour, Emma listened to more messages. Some were short. Some were long. Some made absolutely no sense. One began with, important announcement. The vegetables in the refrigerator continue refusing to cooperate. Another said, I've reached the age where I walk into rooms and forget why I'm there. If I ever disappear, check the kitchen. Emma laughed so hard, she nearly dropped her phone. For the first time in years, the memories felt warm instead of painful, like sunlight breaking through clouds. As the messages continued, the jokes became less frequent. The conversations became deeper. David spoke about mistakes, regrets, lessons learned. He talked about courage, about failure, about starting over. One message stayed with her. Emma, you don't have to have everything figured out. Most adults are improvising. We just do it confidently. Emma laughed, then thought about it. Maybe he was right. Maybe everyone was just pretending to know what they were doing. Message number 12 felt different. The tone changed. The humor disappeared. David sounded serious. Okay, kiddo. If you've listened this far, I need you to do something. Go to the garage. Find the old blue toolbox. The ugly one. The really ugly one. You'll know it's mine, because nobody else would willingly own it. Emma frowned. The toolbox. Why? The message ended. No explanation. No answers. Just questions. And suddenly, Emma needed to know more. The next morning, she drove to her childhood home. Dust covered everything. Silence filled every room. The house felt frozen in time. The garage smelled exactly the same. Wood. Oil. Old memories. And there it was. The blue toolbox. Still ugly. Just as promised. Inside she found photographs. Letters. Receipts. Random screws nobody would ever use again. And at the very bottom, a sealed envelope. Written across the front. For Emma. Open after listening to every message. Her heart began racing. That night, Emma listened to the remaining voice notes. Each one felt heavier than the last. Finally, she reached number 17. The final recording. She pressed play. Several seconds passed before David spoke. When he did, his voice sounded emotional. Hey kiddo, if you're hearing this, then you finally found the courage. I know this hasn't been easy. I know you've probably spent a long time carrying things alone. But don't build a home inside your grief. Visit it. Learn from it. But don't live there. I loved being your dad. That was the best job I ever had. And trust me, I was terrible at most jobs. Emma laughed through her tears. With shaking hands, she opened the envelope. Inside was a key. And a handwritten note. One final adventure. Love, Dad. The key belonged to a storage unit across town. The next morning she went there. The door slowly rolled open. Inside were dozens of boxes. Photo albums. Family videos. Letters. Birthday cards. Drawings she made as a child. Every memory her father had carefully saved over decades. And sitting on top was one final note. When memory fades, stories remain. Keep telling ours. Months later, Emma completed something she never thought possible. She created a digital archive containing every photograph, letter, video, and recording. Not because she was afraid of forgetting, but because she finally understood something. The people we love never truly disappear. They continue through stories, through memories, through laughter, through the tiny pieces of themselves they leave behind. And sometimes, through 17 unopened voice notes, waiting patiently for the right moment. The moment someone finds the courage to press play. Grief is not the price of love. It is proof that love existed.